everybody. Tamara Holloway here, Diamond Ambassador, and I'm so excited to come and just share with you about a topic that I'm really passionate about. And most things that I'm passionate about in this business is because I've had to learn a hard lesson along the way, or maybe I've changed my mindset about something and now I do things a little bit differently. And so most of the things that I teach on and speak on is because I've been through it myself. So, as I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you all, I remember just a few weeks ago, a girl on my team asked me at a retreat that I was at, she said, Tamara, how do you stay motivated? What's your secret to staying motivated? And I probably looked at her like a little bit like a deer in headlights because I really had to think about that question. I wanted to be honest with her. And the first thing that popped in my mind was, you know what? I am not always motivated. I am not always motivated in my business. That feeling of motivation, it naturally ebbs and flows. What I've learned is it's what you do with the lack of motivation that really matters. So before we dive into that, I have a question for you. Are you waiting for motivation to take action? Or maybe you have it here and there, but it only seems to stick around for a couple of days. You can't seem to maintain that consistency that you know is needed in your business. It's as if you know what you need to do. You have a list, you know what you need to do, but you can't seem to bring yourself to actually doing it. So, in thinking of my secret or any other successful leader within our company, within my team, here is one thing that I have consistently seen. High achievers do not wait for motivation to show up. If you're waiting on that lasting motivation, you're probably never going to really do much of anything. I remember back when I had just ranked Emerald. I flew from gold to emerald in a very short amount of time. I worked my hiney off and I worked day in and day out. Well, I hit emerald and I remember a distinct feeling of I have no desire to work my business. And it wasn't that I felt I had arrived. No, I was looking at sapphire and I was looking at diamond. But I just did not have the desire like I'd had in the past 8 months, to work my business. And I sat in that for a good 2 weeks, and my team stalled. In fact, my biggest time within ranks was from emerald to sapphire. From silver to gold was about 4 months, and emerald to sapphire was 4 months. It was the longest stall in my business, and I know it was because I sat in the lack of motivation for a good period of time. How did I get out of that? I remember sitting at my desk one morning and I thought, Tamara, you've got to snap out of this. Like, what is going on with you? And I took out my calendar. I used a paper calendar back then. I looked at my calendar and it was completely empty. I didn't have any training calls set up. I didn't have any trainings, calls for my team set up. I didn't have any coffee dates set up. I didn't have any three-way calls with my level ones and their potential set up. My calendar was empty. And even though I did not have a motivation to work my business, I began to fill my calendar up. It's like something in me told me if you don't get back into activity, if you don't start doing the things that you've been doing to get you where you are today, your business is going to fizzle out. And so I filled that calendar up. I was doing trainings for my team. I was doing individual trainings with my teammates, my level ones, my level twos. I was doing three-way calls. I was reaching out again. I was sharing about Plexus more consistently. I was following up with my potentials. I was following up with my past customers. I was having coffee dates. I took a girl who's now an emerald on my team to a opportunity meeting. I got back into activity. And guess what? The motivation followed. So the whole moral of that story is that motivation is a byproduct of activity. If you can force yourself to take the actions you know you need to do, that is when the motivation begins to show up for you. And in that continued activity, that is when you begin to build momentum. Daily activity is the breeding ground for momentum. In the doing, the motivation comes. So I want you to be willing to make a commitment to yourself, to your team, to your business. Realize there is a purpose in why you're doing this, your dreams, your goals, your desire for yourself and your family. Write down those dreams, write down those goals, and then write down the specific actions you need to take daily to achieve them. Take try out of your vocabulary and then commit to doing those things you know you need to do to move that needle forward. And then, lastly, and maybe the hardest part, I want you to mind your commitment. I want you to do the things that you said you were going to do. The definition of commitment is doing the things you said you would do long after the feeling that you said it in is gone. We've all experienced that, haven't we? In many areas of life. I mean, who's ever decided that they're going to, let's say, work out 5 days a week? That first week, you're doing it. You're lifting weights, you're walking on the treadmill, you're taking your baby on a run in your jogging stroller, whatever the things may be. You're motivated by it. The weekend hits. You have a piece of cheesecake. All of a sudden, Sunday night comes along and you're thinking, ugh, I know I'm supposed to get up Monday morning and get these 5 workouts in. I just don't feel like it. So you don't do it, right? That is not sticking to your commitment, and it's doing the action based on how you feel. And if your feelings, if your emotions are what is determining whether you daily work on your business, I can almost promise you, you will not go that far. If your emotions are in control of whether you reach out to new people, follow up with your potentials, hop on your team's power hour or training call, head to the post office and mail those samples that you promised to send out, and so on, you will not find meaningful success. Motivation is a byproduct of daily activity. So, are you going to talk yourself into taking action or are you going to talk yourself out of taking action? It can go either way. But if you're committed, you will not allow your feelings to be what drives you and dictates you. Instead, it's going to be that consistency that you will begin to create momentum in your business. Don't allow your feelings to be what drives you. Be consistent, be committed, and do the things you know you need to do, whether you feel like doing it or not. And that's when you're going to see that momentum. Okay, I hope that was helpful. I hope that you could pull some nugget from this and decide, what are my dreams? What are my goals? What activities am I willing to commit to see those things come to fruition? Thank you, guys.